plentiful out of the river, and still rarer when he couldn't snare a squirrel or possum. As he stretched to his full 5 feet 8 inches, Harvey eyed his peeling Adidas, but decided to leave them where they were. The rubber sole on the left shoe was about to give way to a hole, and he wanted it to last for at least one more rainy day. His eyes scanned the horizon as he adjusted the pull cord on the swim trunks he wore as shorts, hoping in vain to make them tighter. One thing about the hot weather, it was hard to keep the weight on. Making no sudden movements, Harvey turned a full 360 degrees, watching and listening for signs of danger. Satisfied that it was safe to move, he plucked his prized FBI T-shirt off the branch where he'd left it to air out overnight and slipped it on. Harvey walked carefully through the tall grass and scrubby brushes toward the water, toward the spot where he presumed the body to be. He watched his feet. Poking a bare toe into somebody's guts would be a disgusting way to start the day. Something caught his eye, off at his 11 o'clock. He stopped in mid-step and squinted. Had something moved? He didn't think so. It was one of those intuitive things that hit him from time to time, and he knew to wait it out until his brain could unscramble it. All around him, nothing stirred but the breeze, gently waving the top of the tall seed-tipped grass in an undulating ripple that made land look like water. So what was it? A phrase popped into his head. Background anomaly. When someone's lying in wait, or lying dead, they think they're concealed by the tall grass that surrounds them. And they'd be right if it weren't for the background anomaly. When everything is waving in the breeze, the anomaly is the patch of vegetation that stands still. In this case, it was far more obvious than that. Harvey saw a definite hole in the rolling surface of the grass, exactly the kind of hole that a body would leave after it had been dumped. As he closed the distance, he thought briefly about the footprints and other damning evidence he was leaving behind, but if it came to that, at least he could show that the path of footprints led directly to his tent. Plus, if footprints were an issue, there should be at least one other pair that would implicate the real killer. He was still 10 feet away when he caught the first glimpse of blue fabric through the moving blades of grass. It was definitely a body. He slowed as he approached the last couple of yards. "Hello?" he said. "Hey, are you okay?" The guy didn't move. If he had, Harvey may well have shit all over himself. Nearly on top of it now, he could just make out the whole form. He gasped and clamped his hands over his mouth. Horror washed over him out of nowhere, gripping his insides and twisting him. Without any thought or warning, Harvey Rodriguez did something he hadn't done in too many years for him to remember. He started to cry. Chapter 2. July in Virginia. Though the sun had set, the weather still hung like wet wool as the two men climbed out of their rented Chevrolet Caprice and closed the doors. They wore the standard uniforms of the FBI agents they pretended to be, white shirts and rep ties under unimaginative pinstriped suits, blue for the smaller of the two, and gray for his massive companion. The big man, Brian Vandermeulebrocke by birth, but boxers to his friends, pulled at his collar like a boy in church. "I swear to God, Panama was cooler," he grumbled. Jonathan Graves smiled. "At least we've got autumn on the other end of it," he said. Back in the day when discomfort was part of their patriotic sacrifice to God and country, the two men had logged dozens of months in fetid tropics, but today's Brooks Brothers uniforms made Virginia way less comfortable. The latex facial prosthesis didn't help. Their destination lay half a block away, remarkable for its ordinariness. Low-rise and constructed of red brick trimmed in white stone, the Basin jail looked like the result of a student architectural lesson gone bad. It might have been mistaken for a small elementary school, or even a recreation center. "That's the stupidest-looking jail I have ever seen," Boxer said, nailing Jonathan's thoughts. "Here's to thin walls and lax security."